have enough role playing because the more time you do it, you kind of build some muscle memory and,
Uh-huh.
and you get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Roxanne.
Hi there. I figured I'd be civilized during these few hours.
it's 5:09 and the MC Clover, she's on the phone. Let me call her to find out does I mean why she's not on. Hold on.
And in the meantime, we can get started on the virgin drink because this is, however, happy half hour.
That's right. You go right ahead. You do it.
Exactly.
Bring some with you, girl.
Right? So
Don't mind.
I got some 21 and over alcoholic drinks for you. Right now we're gonna do the grad quarantini though. It's super refreshing. It's like 104. I'm in California right now, so it's like 104 degrees out here. So yeah. So I'm just gonna dive right into it because I'm literally sweating. I'm in like the hottest room in the house. I got my shaker. It's filled with ice. It's kind of melting. And the grad quarantini is really tropical, so it's has lemon and pineapple flavors. And then I have these fancy little martini glasses that I garnished with some lemon heads because that just makes it better. Yep. So even though it's a virgin drink or a mocktail, whatever you want to call it, it's still super delicious and it's still super fancy. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this pineapple juice. So like I said, we're starting off with a virgin drink, so you won't kind of cross contaminate. Because my mom, actually, she doesn't drink alcohol, so I told her that I would make her all these virgin drinks. so this is about 2 ounces of pineapple juice, and then about 5 ounces of lemonade. And this is all in the drink menu. So when you guys get those, you can always recreate it. Like I said, I just have it on some ice and then I have a shaker. So we're just going to close that, shake it up really well, and then pour it into our martini glass. So there you have the virgin grad quarantini. And as you can see, it's super bright, super pretty, and let me see if it's good. Super refreshing. I feel like the lemonade kind of takes off of the zing of the pineapple, so it just makes it like delicious. But it's even more delicious for me when we mix this. I have pineapple Ciroc. You can have any pineapple flavored vodka, but I like pineapple Ciroc because I feel like I'm supporting Black-owned businesses. So we're going to take about 2 ounces of pineapple Ciroc, maybe a little more, depends on how you're feeling. You're at home. That's you're in quarantine. Some of us are still, even though the state is open back. But either way, you're at home. So if something happens, you're having a good time and you're still safe. We'll have about 5 ounces of lemonade. And we'll kind of do the same thing. Close that up. Put it in our shaker and shake it. And even if you don't drink, honestly, it's always good to have a shaker at home.
All mine are in storage.
Oh gosh, you got to get that out. That's the first thing you got to get out.
Well, I got my wine bar and I got my wine glasses.
And as you can see, that one's touching the tippy top. The other one's a little light. This one is touching top because we see which one is my favorite. Like I said, that's for all of us who are 21 and up. Because we want you to drink responsibly. But honestly, that's so good. And it's so great for when it gets super hot. How is the weather in New York?
It's nice today, actually.
Weeks ago.
Today is nice.
Okay, perfect. And you all can take your mics off of mute. This is a very social environment. Feel free to talk. I like how Dean Rowe just kind of jumped in there and was talking away. I mean, it's a happy hour, right? What do you do at happy hours? You socialize. Mm-hmm. Even though we're virtual, the emphasis is still on socializing, making connections, and making sure we meet one another. So, Mr. Biggs, my name is Reese Clayton. How are you?
I am well, Reese. Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
You as well. Do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself? Because we have not had the pleasure of meeting in real life.
Well, I'm an alum of Medgar, and I'm excited to be invited back to talk to the new students, the ones who are going to receive the baton and inherit these new opportunities that are there. I tend to say, even with COVID, there's going to be a lot of opportunities after, the quarantine lifts.
Hmm.
And I think the younger generation are going to have to dig deep and be real creative. And I really think this is a group of students that have what it takes to do just that.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are becoming really innovative. We're seeing some really cool things. Just up and down my timeline, I'm seeing super motivated people. I'm seeing some people who are like super chill and being relaxed and trying to deal with their mental health. But then I also see some things that are crazy, and I'm like, yo, I've never even thought of that. Like, there's these people who are doing virtual dating, like speed dating almost. Um, there, and I kind of deal with events, obviously, so that's what I pay attention for. But parties are happening. I feel that I'm exercising more because I'm going on like virtual Zoom sessions and like soca dance classes. We're hiking a lot more out here and in New York as well. So, hey, people are very innovative. Let me move this from my face. I couldn't even see. Sorry.
My daughter does Zumba, and she's a Zumba instructor. And after COVID hit, she started doing the classes online, and she just thought it would be for a couple weeks. Now folk are like logging in, they're inviting friends and
Yeah.
family. She's got a big crew now. She's launched a
Yeah.
YouTube channel. Folk are paying her for the opportunity to come and work out with her because she's a dancer. So
Wow.
she does Zumba at an extremely high level. So,
Wow.
and because of COVID, she couldn't go to a facility, so
Yeah.
she had to be creative like everyone else, and
Exactly.
they're just enjoying it. It's different, but it gets you some of the same results. They're working out.
Yeah, exactly. You got to drop. Do you know how to work the chat feature?
Yes.
You have to drop her information so we can look up her Zumba classes because I know I'm always looking for new things to do.
Okay.
I hate working out. I really do, but I'm trying my best because all I'm doing is eating brownie bites. Okay. I see we got Constance that hopped on the line. Is it Constance, Connie? What do you want us to call you? Feel free to turn on your camera, turn on your mic. We're talking right now. It's hot, and I'm just gonna take a. When I tell you, if you see me sweating at any moment, just don't mind that. We're past it. It's just the glisten. Let's just imagine I'm just glowing, okay?
Well, Reese, I shared your cocktail menu with some of our students in the school. I'm gonna share a cocktail with you that I like to make.
Okay.
I don't have a mocktail version, but it's something that you could use for whatever crowd you may be in.
Okay.
It's called The Last Word.
Wait, let me write this down because I definitely have a note full of like drinks. So let me get to my notes. It's called The Last Word. Okay.
The Last Word.
Can I call it Rocky's Last Word? Can I just make up a nickname for you and turn it into a drink?
You can.
Funny, that's actually my nickname.
An ingredient tonight. I don't have lime juice with me, so I'm using lemon juice.
Okay.
For the cocktail.
What else?
And what it is, it contains 1 part gin.
Okay. Ooh.
It's only for the grown and sexy. 1 part maraschino liqueur.
Part what?
Maraschino liqueur, like the cherries.
Yep.
1 part chartreuse, green chartreuse though, and 1 part lime juice. Now you can serve it neat in a martini glass or tulip-like glass, or you can do it on the rocks.
Okay. That sounds delightful.
Yeah, Raquel, can you send Clover the new link? She's using the link that she used with Ron earlier today, and that link isn't going to get her.
Okay.
Okay.
I will resend her the link.
You did?
No, I'll resend it because I sent the links out again.
Okay.
I did see Ron's link. While that's booting up, I like to use some Bombay gin, Bombay Sapphire. This is what the maraschino liqueur bottle it comes in.
Okay.
Luxardo is one of the top brands.
Cool. I mean, I've never had maraschino liqueur, so that's
You had maraschino cherries in a drink.
Yes, for sure. I just made a fruit salad yesterday.
As you see, I've already been working on it.
Hey.
Dangerous, girl. You're dangerous.
Now, but keep in mind that the chartreuse is, I believe, 120 proof.
My type of girl, you know. That's, I mean.
So, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me forward this. See, forward. I have so many different emails.
For the rum punch drink, I had, so I was trying to find a way of making the rum punch available because I'm like, that's so New York. I've never had, I mean, I've been to Jamaica and had rum punch and stuff like that, but I just feel like in New York, specifically at the soda bar in Brooklyn, I've had the best rum punch. So I had to throw in like a rum punch-esque drink into this mix, right? So rum punch requires you to use overproof rum. And I'm like, well, how can I make this without like getting them too boozed up during this senior week, you know? So I'm like, okay, let's make it something with champagne, something light, something fluffy, but it also has the flavors of the rum punch there. So I'm all about overproof rum. It's kind of delicious, but it also will get you the results that you need in a quicker manner. Ooh, okay. And I'm actually going to try to go on Instagram Live if I could get my phone set up in an appropriate fashion. So, see if we can get some more interaction. Have we gotten a lot of RSVPs for the Fireside chat?
A good number. It's about, well, last I looked, it was about 25, 30 people.
Okay, Raquel, he tried the link and is not working. Did you send a new one?
I just sent him another link just now.
Okay, then. All right.
So, as I just stated, I'm on live, Instagram Live right now. So, we're doing the virtual happy hour for Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, and then I'm in California doing a live for virtual happy hour. This is our alcoholic drink, and this is our virgin drink, alcohol infused. So we got this Grad Quarantini. It's garnished with lemon heads at the bottom, and then it's pineapple Ciroc and lemonade. And then this one is pineapple juice and lemonade. And they're both super delicious, but this one I'm going to drink because my mom actually left and can't get her virgin drink. So both of them are for me. And it's super hot, and I'm in the hottest room in the house. So if y'all see me sweating, it's just listening. Hey, friends, how's it going? I think you guys should, while you're on live, you should definitely pop open whatever bottles you have and join us in this virtual happy hour. We have a couple minutes left. And then we're going to jump in the fireside chat with this, with with the Medgar Evers College. I'm super excited about this week, though. Are you guys excited? Are we amped yet?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Should we be excited for
Yes.
all the seniors? No, we're kicking it off. Like they're graduating.
Stuff.
They're graduating during quarantine, but I mean, I think we're gonna bring some really dope things this week. Without, I mean, I gotta shout out game night, of course. I have to. So we're gonna have that game night. We're gonna have another virtual happy hour, and I'll send out the link in my Instagram as well. We have a ton of professional development things that are happening. And then we have some after parties, fashion shows, things like that. I'm excited. And we got a lot of like local DJs, or the Sacramento local DJs to come and DJ the party. So I'm super excited about everything that's about to go down. It us. We did this, you guys.
Absolutely.
Us. Specifically Raquel, because Raquel was like bringing everybody together and making sure we had it.
I just got dressed like 2 minutes ago. I swear.
Right. Without you three ladies, you're in the middle of my screen. So Dean Rowe, Roxanne, and Raquel. Without you three, I mean, where will we be? Hey, Clover, how's it going?
How are you?
Welcome to the party.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Welcome, everyone.
Yes. Are you gonna MC this and the rest of the fireside?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Don't you have a story to share with us? And I don't know if people on my live can hear this, but don't you have a story to share with us?
Oh, yes, we sure do.
Feel free, jump in, because like I said, I'm still here with my drinks, because it's a happy hour, or happy half hour. So we're here with our virgin and our Ciroc. We see Raquel over there making something. So go ahead, dive in. We're all ears, girl. And then people on my Instagram can hear you too.
What do you want me to talk about? My speech? My accomplishment? Huh?
Whatever you want.
Oh.
You're on mute, Dino.
It's happy hour.
Are everybody on live right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just us, whoever you can see.
Cheers.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Clover Chambers, and I am a graduate of 2020.
Clover, do you have your drink ready?
Yes, and coming back to Evers College was a challenge for me because life changes, and was really challenging to come back to school after owning my two business, and thought I had everything set, ready to move on, future, but things take a change for the downside. So I challenged myself to come back to school and take a different path, So here we are today. The world has changed, but it didn't stop us from achieving our goals. And I thank all the staff members of Evers College and professors who were there for me along the way. And it was a lot, but we made it through. And I just want to thank God for being there, for being the author and finish of my faith and keeping me through this journey. And to where I'm at today, I'm grateful.
That's amazing.
Yes. So I just want to say the journey for me was really overwhelming at times, but my children, I have 3 wonderful children that helped me along the way, and my family members and friends were there for me. So it kind of gave me that stability that I needed to move forward ahead and do the best that I could.
Clover, this is Dean Rowe. Tell them how old your children is. I'm so proud of this one.
Oh, my children are in their teens. All of them are in their teens. Grown. They're in college too. So they are grown children. 20s, 23, 24. So they all grown.
Okay, so you're going to be telling your story throughout the night. And so now we have one of our most senior, oh, he don't like me saying that, graduates from 1984, who has come back and served his college over and over. So, Chloe, Clover. This is somebody who preceded you by decades. And
Oh,
Thank you, Dean.
yeah, yeah, and he's still kicking it. He's still doing it. So, Clover, I want you as the new 2020 graduate to bring on the 1984 graduate. So you bring them on right now. Go ahead.
welcome, Terence Big, to a 2020 pre fashion show event.
Talent show. We're talent show.
Talent show. Did you get the program I sent out?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. I'm still sending them out. So bear with me.
Okay.
We are family.
Yes. Tough time being together.
Dean, after that introduction, I think I should just walk straight to the cemetery. I mean,
No, no, no. Don't say that.
the most senior, the most. There's nothing left.
Terence Big to the stage.
I want the new graduates to know and to see you and to be proud of you as we are proud of you. You came through in a very tough time. We're in tough times now. And so, Clover, I guess we can cut over. It is exactly 5:30. And I will tell you this about Coach Biggs. He is a stickler on time. So I want you to know we started just on time for your section.
For me, right?
This is what the drink looks like. The last word when it's on ice.
It looks delicious.
It does.
It looks
I'm sure that's not the virgin version of it.
No, it's not. I can only have one, or else I might end the party a little early.
Oh no, that's the beauty of these happy hours. Like, you're fine.
And Reese, it's a prohibition era cocktail.
Okay. Look at that historic value. Look at that.
Yes. You know, I'm a history teacher, so I like to bring a little knowledge every now and then.
Look at that. I love it. Well, thank you all for having some cocktails with me.
Reese, are you going to be mailing out those cocktails?
I won't be mailing them out, but you do have it in your email inbox. So if you ever want to make it yourself, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so feel free to make it at a later date, because then you're gonna, when it's really hot and you want like some lemonade or some like spiked lemonade, you're gonna be like, oh, let me make that drink that Reese told me about. Oh, that grad quarantini. Let's celebrate these seniors. And then you're gonna be like, wow, this is refreshing. Look at that.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to you all, because I don't want to infringe on your time, because I know you guys have a lot to say, and I'm excited to learn about it too.
All right, great.
All right, I'll just go back on mute. Have a great time, guys.
Okay.
Thanks, Reese.
Okay, so Clover, are you handing it over to Coach Biggs, or what do you want to do?
Terence Big to the stage.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Dean, are we extending any courtesy for folk who are getting? Well, I guess they real late. It's 5:30, but. But I'm willing to be.
Graduated from Medgar.
I'm willing to be flexible. When you tell me 5:30, I'm there 4:45.
Oh, I know.
Help it out with a happy half hour.
So, all right, let's
be ready by 5:30. I know that, so I was ready.
Well, what I wanted to spend, I was hoping we would get a lot of the students on, because I wanted to spend more time making this session more relevant to them by having them be able to ask questions. Because one of the things that sticks out to me is when I attended Medgar in 1825, according to Dean Rowe, when dinosaurs were roaming the land. one of the things I wish I had was someone who had already gone through the Medgar experience to be able to sit down and pick their brain on what's ahead for me, what happens after I get my degree, and all of the nervousness and the butterflies that you have in your stomach. To be able to talk to someone who has been there,
Mhm.
I think it kind of puts the ground back under your feet to let you know it's going to be okay. He looks normal. He doesn't look like some superhero, and if he did well, I'll do well too. I think that's the message that I wanted. And then any of the questions that you have that you feel, sometimes you have a question that you feel I can't ask like a recruiter these questions. These are more, maybe they're cultural questions, maybe they're private questions that I need answers to. So I thought we would use the session to do that. So I didn't really plan, as Dean Roll can tell you, I'm a speaker. I can speak for 2 hours if we need to, and I'll ask you for another hour after that. But I decided to be brief and just share just some thoughts, and then being that I know students, because sometimes when you put them on the spot, they freeze up and they have no questions. So I've gone ahead and prepared some questions. Thought back of when I was graduating from Mega, what are some of the questions that I have had back then, and what are some of the questions that I think are prevalent today. So I've got a list of questions that we can kind of go to if we don't get enough questions coming up from the participation. So let's uh, I'm gonna jump right into this. I want to thank all the students. Dean Rowe called me and told me the students requested you, and I said, "Me? Why?" She said, "Because they feel they know you. You've been here. You've come out. You've come to Brooklyn. You've been to just about everything that they've been doing, and they really want you to come." And that meant a lot to me. It meant that they felt that I added some value to their life. Because the last thing you want to do is to just show up and be a windbag and not add any value to people's life. We've all been to those sessions where you get to talking heads, and when you walk out, you wonder, what did you get from this session? So I'm humble and honored to be connected with each of you as students at Medgar Evers College. So honored, Dean Roll. If you'll notice, I put on my best tuxedo for the occasion because I did not want to be outdressed by Dean Rose. She wears pearls to bed. So I really wanted to make sure that I was dressed properly for the event. So I want to spend as much time as possible having a dialogue instead of a monologue. So my monologue is going to be extremely brief. In light of COVID-19 forcing civilization to embrace change, I want to recommend a book to the group, and it's a book on change theory. And it's a book written by Dr. Spencer Johnson, and it's entitled Who Moved My Cheese? Many of you, I am sure you have heard of it. It is a small little book that is worthwhile pulling out and rereading at least 2, 3 times a year. Okay, so Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. I also want to talk to you in this session. Um, My wife, Dr. Sharon Biggs, and I wrote a book entitled Leadership, the DNA of Gutsy Leaders. And the reason why I'm showing you this book is it's subtitled, I Am Made for This Moment. And I thought the subtitle was just so perfect in light of COVID, in light of graduation, in light of video conferences, and all this newness that we're all embracing. I thought this title would be quite apropos. I am made for this moment. So I want you, with all the attitude that you can muster, especially after the cocktails, not the mocktails, I want you to be able to muster as much energy as you can. And I need you to say that with me. I am made for this moment, and give.
I am made
For this moment.
I need more energy. Come on, guys. Energy. I need it. I'm made for this moment.
I am made for this
I am
moment.
made for this moment.
There you go. And indeed we are. Indeed we are. Whether it's COVID or any other challenges, I think when you adopt it from a mentality that you're made for it, you're able to see the opportunities in spite of the challenges. So before I move on, I've got 8 copies of Dr. Spencer's book. And he deals with the amazing way to deal with change in your work and in your life. So I've got 8 copies of his book. I've got 8 copies of the DNA of Gutsy Leaders. And for those who really want to get more, I've got 8 copies of the DNA of Gutsy Leaders, the study guide. I want to give away these bundles. I will autograph them and send them out to you. But as Dean wrote, I'm sure she would be able to tell you, she knew there would be a but. So let me give you the but in order to get one of these bundles. I need you to email me, and this is what I need you to include in the email. Number 1, the book deals with change theory. So if you could include in your email, what is the meaning of change theory? This exercise is going to help you tremendously. So what is the meaning of change theory? We good? Everyone's good?
Yes.
All right. Number 2, what is your understanding of change theory? In the age of Google, I know you're going to Google it, but what do you understand it to mean? If you had to explain it to someone, what is your understanding of change theory? And number 3, how will practicing change theory impact your future specifically? Based on your major, your career choice, your path ahead, practicing change theory will impact that or those decisions that you've made. Let me know how. We're all clear? Do I need to repeat any of them?
Can you repeat that last one?
The last one is, how will practicing change theory impact your future specifically? That's good?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your email, make sure to include your full name and an address where I can mail your bundle to if you're one of the 8 winners. And I'm going to give you my email address. It's Coach Biggs, Biggs, at marketplacedynamics.com. Raquel, you already have that email address.
Yes, I do.
Drop it in the chat too.
I'm sorry?
Chat.
Drop your email address in the chat.
You know what? I could do that. Okay, got it?
Darnell.
Yes.
Okay. So let's change gears here. As many of you know, I was born in the Republic of Panama, and I immigrated with my family to the United States as a 10-year-old brown boy. I barely spoke English because Spanish is my first language. You wouldn't know it, right? Strike 1.
No.
Strike 1. It's funny because my wife and I went to Erasmus Hall High School and we met in Spanish class. She wanted to know, why did this black boy ace every exam and was the teacher's pet? She didn't know it was my first language. I just made it look like I was really that smart. But that was strike 1. I didn't speak English very well. I spoke Spanish and I had an accent. I graduated from Erasmus Hall High School, and I had to take English and math remedial courses in college. Ooh, strike 2. I knew Seek and CD well. They were my people. They took care of me. But that was strike 2 for me, remedial courses. And it was said he will never, ever land a career on Wall Street as an accountant with a degree from Medgar Evers College because they just don't hire our kind. Strike 3. So, by all accounts, I had struck out. 1, 2, 3, you're out, game over. But because I convinced myself that I was made for that moment, let me tell you how the story goes. I made the dean's list repeatedly at Medgar Evers. I graduated cum laude from Medgar Evers. I was hired on my first interview. First interview. After worrying, will they hire me? Am I going to be unemployed? They hired me on my first interview. My first salary was with a Wall Street real estate investment trust as a senior accountant, and they paid me $65,000 fresh out of the gate. I was shocked. I was shocked. I stayed there for a number of years, and my second job on Wall Street was with an asset management company. Kind of went over on the investment side. One of the beauties of accounting, you can experience several industries. So I was able to go over to the asset management side, the finance side, and they hired me as the assistant controller, director of finance. They paid me $85,000 base salary with a $30,000 annual annual performance bonus for $115,000 compensation. This brown boy from Medgar Evers College that barely spoke English. But I knew my accounting. Now, this was a large company. It was a Fortune 100 company with 32,000 employees. So when the time came for our parent company, which was Continental Insurance, to be purchased by CNA Insurance, I want to tell each and every one of you that at the negotiating table, representing Medgar Evers at this merger and acquisition deal that was in the billions of dollars, was Terence Biggs from Medgar Evers College, originally from Panama. And it rocked my world because I remember sitting in my office and they called me up and said, Terry, can you come up to the chairman's office? We're having some issues with the financial statements. And my boss couldn't answer some of the questions. You know, the chairman wants you to come up. And I went upstairs and I'm just going back and forth. And it hit me. This is what I was worried about. Could I do this? Would I be allowed to do that? Would they invite me to do this? And it literally came to life right in front of me. As a Medgar Evers graduate, I added value to the conversation. And I want each and every one of you to know that there's been enough poured into you that when the time is right, you're going to know when it's time to pour it back out. It's there. You're questioning it now and you're wondering if it's all there, is it complete? It's there. And when it's time to make the withdrawal, your check will not bounce. You'll make good on it. So I'm here to tell you that it takes guts to be successful. It takes guts. I could have listened to the naysayers and decided, yeah, maybe they're right. Wall Street's not for me. Let me go get a retail or let me do something smaller. But it took guts to follow through in spite of not having the fans saying that they thought they believed you could do this. So in order to prove the naysayers wrong, you have to become what I call a gutsy, transformational leader. You literally have to become a gutsy, transformational leader. So let me talk to you a little bit about what are the characteristics of a gutsy, transformational leader. Number one, they stay current, relevant, and adaptable. Current, relevant, and adaptable. And they do that by being ravenous readers. They research all the time, even when no one's asked you for it. Engage, constant engagement. Next one is reskill continuously. That is so important in this day and age. When you acquire a skill set, in this world that we're living in, the next month, you really need to reskill. So don't just sit on what you have in the tank. Know that tomorrow, some of what's in the tank probably won't work anymore because there's a new way to do it. So focus on reskilling continuously. Remain flexible. It will save you a lot of anxiety. Practice writing as much as you can. On LinkedIn, publish articles. You can self-publish an article and generate a conversation and steer that conversation. Lead it. Let folk know that, wow, John brought this conversation up and I was thinking about it. It puts you in the forefront. And become a lifetime student, what we call a lifetime learner. You're graduating. Don't stop being a student. Okay? Number 2, ask tough questions. Tough questions are backed up by research and data. Do your homework. So when you're sitting at the table with the decision makers and you're wondering whether you belong there, the way you decide that you belong there is for you to do the research, for you to dig through be the most prepared person in that room, unequivocally. Even if they say, oh, Terry, it's going to be a 15-minute meeting. There's no such thing as a 15-minute meeting. And I've seen folk grab their stuff and run in and bam, you're on blast. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are hitting me on I didn't prepare. Always be prepared for every meeting that you walked in so that you will be the most prepared person in the room, because trust me, there will be someone that you get under their skin, not because you purpose to get under their skin. It might be your color, your gender, your act, whatever. They'll find a reason. And you need to always be prepared to hit that ball that they're going to throw to you. Always. Don't ever let them pitch you out. Don't give them the satisfaction. Be prepared. Expect giant challenges and see them as opportunities. Folk are looking at COVID now and they're freaking out. Right? So a post-COVID world is one that's filled with opportunities for those who will identify them as such. Everybody's looking at them as problems. Entrepreneurs are going to look at them as opportunities. These are opportunities for me to shine. Number 4, be able to work through uncertainty without melting. Be able to lead in the midst of that. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going this way. If I need to adjust, I'll let you guys know. That is a totally different type of leading versus leadership by the book. And with the environments that we're going through now with a pandemic, there is no leadership by the book. Nobody knows the way forward. They're all looking to their team members saying, how do we do this? How do we get out of this? So this is a time to shine. Number 5, they are responsive, not reactionary. Responsive, not reactionary. And being responsive is the byproduct of being prepared. When you're not prepared, you tend to just react. Okay? Number 6, are eager to reinvent themselves. Do not rest on your laurel. Do not become complacent. Said that one before, very important. And the last one, eliminate the word can't from your vocabulary. It just doesn't exist. There are a lot of folk that have said it can't be done, and it's being done for billions and billions of dollars, and folk are making good money off of what somebody else said can't be done. So some will say COVID-19 created lots of challenges. But gutsy transformational leaders will say COVID-19 birthed lots of opportunities. I'm speaking the future to you guys. Okay? When the dust settles and all of this brouhaha lifts, there will be those that will seek and find the opportunities, and they will do extremely well. Be one of them. Start practicing seeing the glass as half full instead of half empty. Don't buy in to the negative chatter in the news where it's bad, it's just awful, and people are dying. And there are folks sitting down doing their homework right now, and they're trying to figure out what are the opportunities that will exist when we come out of quarantine. They're not getting caught up with all of the brouhaha. They're trying to identify the opportunities. I know stock pickers that are sitting around there trying to pick the stocks that will take off when COVID 19 is something that we've dealt with in the past. So they're preparing for what the future will hold for them. So again, you are made for this moment, same way I was made for this moment. Dean Rose said in 1984, I can show you my ring. It was 1983. Um, Back then, Medgar only had two buildings, the Carroll Street building and what we call the Santini building. That was it. There was no campus. There was no all the fancy stuff that I saw. I mean, when I walked around, my jaws were down. Folk were looking at me like he must be a tourist. It's like, wow, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. Um, so I want to leave you with some quotes and then we can go to questions. Whether your questions is on what I just shared or whether some questions that you've had that you would like me to try to address, we can do that. But I just love quotes. And Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank, I just saw a recent quote that she shared. And it's so in line with what I just shared with you. And she's quoted as saying, groundbreaking ideas, new innovations, and successful businesses are always born out of challenging times. Always. Okay? Now, I'm going to quote the little brown boy from Panama in my book, The DNA of Gutsy Leaders, on page 170. Yeah, I'm self-serving. I'm quoted as saying, when opportunity knocks, please do not send, I'm almost ready to answer the door. I've been ready, will do a much better job. Terence Biggs, August 2013. And then on April 9th, 2020, this is something that I just wrote. When opportunity meets preparation, you get an explosion of possibilities. When opportunity meets preparation, you get an explosion of possibilities. Be as prepared as you can be. Opportunity will find you. It will find you. I've known folk where opportunity found them and they weren't prepared and they're asking for time to prepare. It's just too late. When I call you and I say, I got a job, it pays six figures, you and I have been friends, can I get you on board now? And you say, well, Terry, I need to bone up on, I can't offer you the job. So preparation is so critical for those who will have a tango with success. It's absolutely important. So thank you so much for lending me both ears for these few moments. So I am now available to answer your questions based on my experiences, guys. I am not an expert on life. So many, I've made my share of mistakes and miscalculations. I have. However, I'm a firm believer that life lessons should be shared in order to empower the next generation of gutsy transformational leaders. So who will be the gutsy person to ask the first question?
Terrence, this is Raquel. I have a question about, something that you said stood out to me is that people are looking at certain stocks that will possibly be the next big Starbucks, if you will. How can we go about finding out how to do that in some way, shape, or form? What do you recommend?
Okay, read.
Mm-hmm.
First thing. Second thing, read. And the third thing, read. and I'll elaborate. Like, I just looked at the website for U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I went through a transformation that they did pre-COVID. Pre-COVID. This is when you've got gutsy transformational leaders on your team. They lead things that you're wondering why they're doing this. And it's like, you'll see why. Remember in the old days, the model for renting a U-Haul truck was you went down to U-Haul, you showed them your license, you picked out the truck, you gave them your credit card, and they wrote up your order and they gave it to you, and you came back and picked up your truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they've done now is they've launched an app. And on the app, you upload all your information, a photo of your license, a photo of your credit card, and you get to the lot. They give you a time that you're going to pick the truck up. You get to the lot. They literally have the app once you're on premises. It notices that you're on premises, and it sends you a code to unlock a box that has a key and a piece of paper that tells you your truck is on spot A4. And you remove that key from that lockbox and you go over to A4 and open up your car, your truck, and get in and drive off. But before you drive off, they were so meticulous, they said, now take a photo of the odometer so we know that you know where the odometer started. Because we're going to ask you when you return the truck to take a photo of the odometer again so we'll know how many miles you drove. You're doing all this work. No staff is involved yet. Take a picture of the truck, the outside, to make sure there are no dents, because if you bring it back with a dent, you're going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And literally from pickup to drop off, you meet with not one single human being. There's a company that was ready for COVID 8 years in the making. They said it took them 8 years to roll out this transformation because they've got 21,000 dealerships. So rolling it out to such a large audience, the training, but it's phenomenal. Now, there's a company that you say their stock is down because most stocks were down because of COVID. You know that their stock was not down because they're not going to grow. They're going to grow because they were ready for COVID before COVID. They don't do a face-to-face model in that regards that a lot of companies do. So when you start doing the reading, just in your daily readings, you'll come across companies that you'll say, there sounds like they would have a great market after COVID is lifted, right? Costco is a great company to look at. They've implemented COVID measures that other companies have copied. They've got a great transformational team on board that they're not ashamed or afraid to shake the cage. So they're really positioned to do extremely well. When 18 wheelers couldn't come in with Lysol, Costco's team decided to go ahead and strike a deal with a manufacturer, and they arranged to send a ship to pick it up and bring it back and deliver it to the shores, and then they took care of getting it to their stores. They were saying, look, our membership needs these products. We will not stop because you can't get the 18 wheelers, whatever your challenges are. Can we help? Can we do your part? And I'm telling you, whether you work for someone or whether you're an entrepreneur, you work for someone, that boss wants to hear you saying, I heard what you said the problem is, boss, but let me think about it and get back to you tomorrow. I think I got a couple things I want. That's all you want folk to think about. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm dealing with my clients, my client present a problem to me. As the client, I need you to not just confirm it's a problem. I need you to know, Terry, me and my team are going to jump on this. We're gonna exhaust this until we come up with a solution. That is just music to folks' ears. So you can identify the winners by what they're doing now in the midst of COVID, because it's going to help them really excel in a post-COVID environment.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
So this is the D speaking, and since you brought it up, you did bring it up. I didn't bring it up. A lot of jobs are going away. You just spoke about a completely people-less operation with U-Haul. How do you help the graduates figure out what skills they need, whether it's entrepreneurship or employment, to get into the post-COVID? But we know it's the AI, automation, innovation environment. Tell them what, I was going to say tell them what to do, but tell them what you think.
I'm going to tell you what I think. I am working because
What to do?
who was that?
I like to follow instructions. Just tell me what I need to do.
I write I write for 2 magazines. I'm working on a piece now that it's a controversial piece. I just love causing controversy because it births creativity. It forces people to think outside the box. It's a controversial piece because I am basically labeling COVID as an accelerant. I am looking at industries and saying, you could blame COVID all you want. You were irrelevant before COVID and you will not exist after COVID. COVID just accelerated the pace of your demise. But truth be told, you've been on that track for a while. And I talk a lot about the fourth industrial revolution. And I'm going to encourage everyone on this session, if you would go back and just do a Google of the Industrial Revolution, study 4IR number 1, number 2, and number 3, and you're going to see a pattern. The fourth Industrial Revolution smashes every single pattern that you have seen to date. It literally demolishes the model. That's when you stand up and say, "Uh-oh, this is serious." 4IR, Google it. You're going to get more information that you really need to be immersed in. It's going to let you know that we have pushed technology to the point where, remember it back in the day, they talked about dumb terminals. You just got on and typed. Well, we've pushed past dumb terminals. These terminals are thinking, and they will beg to differ with your solutions because they've got their own solution to the problem. We have pushed the science of algorithms to the point where algorithms can literally replace an accountant. Dean Rowe can tell you more about that because Medgar's in a relationship with a company that's really engaged with distance, not only distance learning, but using computers to solve complex problems, not just for data entry, which was the old days, right? So you say, okay, what is the accountant doing now? If the computer is doing the accountant's work, what is the accountant doing? Well, when I was on Wall Street, one of the things that we got bogged down with is the accountants were always the guys following behind, kind of recording what happened. And as I got immersed in that culture, because I didn't know it back then, but I had the spirit of an entrepreneur, I kept asking, why are we always dealing with what took place? I want to see where they headed. We always come in the back end and tell them, okay, this is what you did and this is how much we made. I want to be able to be in the forefront predicting, yeah, if we opened up in China, we're going to have this type of hit on our revenue based on our calculations. So I was always hungry, looking forward, not just looking back to see how we did. I think what happens when you look at artificial intelligence coming in, a lot of folk that are engaged in repetitive tasks, a lot of professions that are engaged in repetitive tasks, they're going to realize that the machines are better capable of replacing you when it comes to repetitive tasks. You can't be as fast as them, and you're not as nimble as them in terms of thinking. Think about it. A computer makes a better lawyer than a lawyer because the law is just so voluminous. A computer can search it, bam, and give you an answer. It's done. While the lawyer's like, I got to get to the library, I got to pull the book out, So you look at certain professions. We used to look at secretaries and administrators. Lawyers were being replaced by artificial intelligence. Computers are being replaced. Doctors are being replaced. So we have to become problem solvers. We need to be the one thinking about what's next. Where is my company going? How do I help my company remain relevant? How do I help the bottom line? The days of just being an employee, coming in, punching the clock, preparing some financial statements, handing them over and getting a paycheck. I mean, it's sad to say, we really need to have a funeral for those days because those days are good and gone and dead. They don't exist anymore. Management will look on every single team member and they need to be able to say when they look at your face, When's the last time you added some value to this team? You can no longer hide in the back like we did. Remember in statistics, everybody want to hide in the back because we ain't know the answers. you can't hide in the back on this exercise. Everybody is in the circle. Leadership is in the middle, and they're going to you and they're asking every single person, how can you help us get out of this dilemma? Dinero, did I hit on it? I don't want to, with me, when it comes to 4IR, I can go deep, but I don't want to bore folk.
Yes, you did. And I'm so happy you noted to the students, it's not what happens in the past, because that is gone, and it was gone before COVID-19. So
Yes.
what are they going
Yes.
to do to add value, and what skills are they going to have? And it can't be some of the repetitive stuff that we used to do. Those jobs are gone.
Right. And let me just add this, guys. You come out of Medgar, because the chances were with me. When I got out of Medgar and I started working on Wall Street, that's when I realized that my hard skills were tight. They were in place. I knew my accounting. I had folk challenge me on stuff and I obliterated them. So it put a light on me as what he's talking about. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So hard skills, you can be confident that you will be well versed in whatever discipline you have studied, especially if you were like me, because when I got a professor that was lazy, I was that professor's worst nightmare. You are not going to cheat me out of this tuition, and you're not going to prepare me for my future. You're just not going to, I'm not going to give you that much power. Okay. So one of the things that I found was the most challenging, and even when I talk to a lot of students, one of the most challenging areas that they find themselves when they land in the market is what we call soft skills. It's not hard skills. So you're prepared to be a nurse. You're prepared to be an accountant. You've been prepared. You know your stuff, right? Because nobody was giving out A's. You had to earn an A or a B if you got it in that class. You know your stuff. But the soft skills, how to be a team member. Nobody ever taught you that, and you show up and you get hired and you're in a team with 30 people. This is a new environment. How do you add value in this space when it's moving real fast and people are throwing ideas and you're not used to that? You don't want to just sit back, because then they're going to say, well, you added no value. Your value is zero. So talking to students about how to be a team member, how to problem solve, right? So you come back from COVID and the challenge is you run a law firm. Well, how do we do business? Because we took a hit for 4 or 5 months. Our revenue was down. We had the staff on furlough. We need to bring them back, but we don't have any revenue. What do you say? You've got to come up with some answers. And I think that's what we're looking for when we say soft skills, the ability to write an email that conveys the problem that you've observed. If your writing is terrible, but your hard skills was good enough to show you that the problem exists. Let's say you come across a problem that's costing your company $1 million a month. That's a $12 million solution that you've come up with. The CEO wants to hear that. But if you can't convey that in an email to your boss, because you got to go up the chain, you just don't go get on the elevator and go up and say, hey, Mr. CEO, I got a $12 million solution for you. You've got to go to your boss. In most cases, your boss is going to say, just put it in an email. I've found students that have said to me, we didn't do that in school. I don't know how to convey my thoughts like that in an email. That's a skill that you really need to have. Let me stop there. I can keep going. The room is quiet. I think soft skills.
Clover, you're the MC. What questions do you have for Coach Big?
I want to ask him what is his weakness and what is his strength? Three weaknesses.
So I got what's my weakness, my strength, and what's the third?
No, I mean, what, give me an example of 3 of your weakness and 3 of your strength.
Oh, okay. For one, I don't have 3 weaknesses.
Well, give me all of your strength then.
I'll give you the one that I'm pleading the fifth. I'll tell you a weakness that I've had throughout my career, and it's the weakness of being a perfectionist.
Okay, great.
And I had a partner, we were building a business in Barbados, and I relocated to Barbados for a year. And we were building this technology. And, we wanted to get to market first before anyone else got to market, but we were missing some key components. We were like 85% there. And I kept saying, no, we can't launch. We got to get it right. We got to get it perfect. It's got to work every time. And there was a company back then that a lot of you might know called Nextel. And back then we used Nextel wireless. They were the worst phones. It was the early adopter of cellular phones. It was the worst phones on the market. They would just drop your calls after a minute. You'd be working on $1 million deal. Nextel was like, I don't care. Boop, you're gone. And my partner said to me, he said, Terry, while we're sitting around trying to perfect the last 15%, this company with a broken product went to the market, got funding, and they're building market share with a product that's probably only like 40% working. And I think we have enough to roll on. And it put my perfectionism dead front and center. And I finally started dealing with it as it was a weakness. Sometimes you're going to have to make a decision without all of the facts. You will not always be in a position to have all the facts. Just doesn't work that way. So I would say that's my most pronounced weakness. The other one is I am relentless. So I don't let go until I find a solution. Sometimes that can be irritating if you're on my team because you're like, let it go. The horse is dead. No, he's not. We can revive him. So, did I answer your questions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Now,
Thank you so much.
sure. Like I told you guys, I've got a couple questions I put together. Let me, if we do we have any other questions? I can share some in the meantime while you think of some.
Okay.
Are we good on time, Dean Roll? Or are we done? You guys, let me know.
No, we're right on time.
Okay. So I'll ask you. Yeah, I kind of answered this one already. When you landed on Wall Street, did you find Medgar College had prepared you to succeed? And my answer to that is hard skills. Yeah, I was a strong accountant. I still am. I had a gentleman, I did my own taxes for the longest. And finally, I gave it up to a friend of mine who had a CPA firm, and he did my taxes. And when he brought me in for the review, I went through the tax document. It was probably about 100 pages. And I looked at his depreciation schedule, and there was an error on the depreciation schedule. And he looked at me, he said, so I am an accountant at heart. Medgar Evers taught me to be an accountant. I will always be an accountant. So the hard skills, phenomenal, but soft skills, problem solving, being a team player. And I'll mention this, unwritten rules. When you get to corporate, they're the rules that HR is going to tell you about. And they're the rules that nobody's going to tell you about until you break them. And it seems unfair, For example, back then, only senior level officers, senior VPs and up, could wear a black suit. I didn't know that. I've always been a dresser. I owned an apparel firm for 11 years. I love dressing. So I didn't know that. I show up and I'm dressed better than the executive folk. And somebody pulled me aside and said, Terry, you can't wear that. Like, why? It's one of the unwritten rules. It's just how we do it around here. Okay. So I learned that. I heard that a lot. It's not how we do it. Well, nobody ever told me. Well, I'm telling you now. So know that there is the culture that they will talk to you about, but then there's that hidden aspect of that culture that has a whole lot of unwritten rules that you really need to learn what those are. With Spanish being your first language, how did you conquer your accent? Read, read, read. Reading out loud. Read as much as you can and read out loud. After a while, you get tired of mispronouncing those words. You're like, get it right, boy. That's not how you say that. You know how to say that. Read and just practice, practice, practice. What is the best piece of advice you can give me? Same thing I've said since we started. Know your stuff inside out. Do not show up unprepared. It's best you not show up. I would rather you show up, not show up for a meeting with me, than for you to show up unprepared, because the way I perceive your being unprepared is that is a total disregard for my time. Because I've carved out time for us to sit and collaborate, and you have showed up unprepared. So this is a waste of both our times. So always be prepared, guys. And I'm telling you, you will be challenged. There's someone that they could pull you aside in the hallway and they could say, you know, Terry, I looked at your numbers and this was calculated wrong. Or Terry, I heard the position you're going to present to the board. And, you know, I would like to kind of discuss that with you. There's some areas of concern in there. They could pull you aside one-on-one. But because there's a position that you're looking to advance to, and they're looking to advance to, they will undermine you. I'm telling you, they will not think 2 seconds about undermining you. And they will wait till you get in the meeting. And they will wait till you are hot and heavy in your point. And that's when they will decide to confront you with whatever it is that they felt they have that can undermine you. You just got to be prepared for that kind of stuff. Because when you're prepared, they throw you the fastball, you hit it, they're blown away. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, you hit a home run. I tried to strike you out and you hit a home run. That is the best feeling you can ever have. So be prepared, guys.
So why don't you share with them, because you had some corporate experience, what it feels like when you're the only person of color in the room. I mean, I don't know how to help prepare them for that feeling. They're prepared for the discipline, but some of that backbiting, I just don't know how to help prepare someone for feeling like you don't belong.
Okay. By a show of hands, what did it do for your sense of, I want to put this, when you were presented with a subject matter that you knew very little about, and either through a professor or through your own research, you came up to speed, and you could say, I know a lot about that subject matter. It literally boosts your morale. When you prepare to the point of where folk listen to what you have to contribute and they immediately say, he or she is on top of their game. When you've got that type of preparation, now, I'm going to use this word and I need you all to frame it properly, okay? When I was on Wall Street, there was a certain sense of cockiness when it came to accounting, because I knew most folk looked and said, what does this brown boy know about accounting? And I couldn't wait for you to ask me. I just couldn't wait for you to ask me. So when we got to that space, it wasn't me responding to you as the only brown boy in the room. It didn't matter to me. And if it mattered to you, that was your problem. It wasn't mine. But as long as I am standing flat-footed on what I know to be so. A lot of times what happens is you flat-footed, but your facts aren't straight. Now, it gives them an opportunity to undermine you. But that's why I say prepare, 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 prepare. I had board meetings. I would stay up all night. My biggest challenge, I'd be sleepy in the board meeting. Why? Because I stayed up and I would digest years and years of financial statements. And I would say, you know, 10 years ago, our research and development budget was so, and they're like, 10 years ago? How the heck does he remember that? Because I was reading it last night. Prepare, prepare, prepare. I just can't say it enough, guys. You've been in front of professors that have presented you with the hard skills that you need. I'm sure you've gone and did your own research and prepared yourself. You're getting your degree and you're going to be launching out into the marketplace. But the one thing that keeps you moving in the marketplace is to add value. And the one thing you can do to make sure that you're always adding value is that you're always 100% loaded for bear. Any takers, come on board. I'm ready for you. So Dean, that's how I answer the color question. I really never dealt with it when I was on Wall Street. I was like, I don't see a problem. You're an accountant, I'm an accountant. Oh, yeah, you're a brown accountant. That's your opinion. Because a lot of times you can get caught up with stuff in your head and it undermines you. I'm just saying, bring your A game every time.
We have about 5 more minutes left, so students ask those hard questions.
I'm going to throw one out, and this is controversial, but you know me, that's what I like. So here's the question. I like natural African hairstyles. Can this cause me a problem in the marketplace? Now, I'm going to answer it in today's time. Back in my time, heck yeah, you weren't even getting a job. And they would give you a reason why. Oh, this, that, and the other. But it was because of they didn't see you fitting in their team. So you wouldn't get that position. But in this day and age, this is what I would say. If your industry is run by progressive, young, transformative leaders, and they are expressing individualism, then you can feel comfortable expressing your individualism, right? But if your industry is run by a culture of conformity, possibly still being led by baby boomers, who we're not woke yet to your individuality. We want you to conform. So if your industry is run by a culture of conformity, you will have to conform in order to advance. It's really that simple. It's like, you go to the military and I have a big afro, I just have a tremendous afro. And they say to me, hey, get over there and get your haircut. It's nothing personal. This is a requirement. And I find that there are times you have to decide whether you're going to conform or whether you need to mod. So this is a touchy area because it deals with, like I mentioned, it was hair. It could deal with a whole lot of other stuff. I talk a lot about code switching, how you and I talk like, yo, what's up? What's going on? When I get in a professional environment, I'm switching. So we've got to learn how to code switch. A lot of times people tell you, you don't talk proper. I say, yeah, it's proper. So if I'm talking to my homie, it's proper. Because this is how we talk. But if I'm talking to my boss and I want to be perceived professionally as someone who knows what they're supposed to know, then I need to be able to just code switch. Just switch and turn back to deal with him and go back the other way. We just need to learn how to code switch. So again, I'm putting some of the tough stuff out there that sometimes it's hard to ask about. And I think if we could create a culture where we could talk about it among ourselves, when you get out there in the market and you're confronted with it, you don't feel alone and isolated and rejected and set aside, because you're going to deal with this type of stuff. I dealt with it. So, Dean, what are the marketplace no-nos that I did not tolerate with my staff? I'll share this with you. Being late. Don't ever be late for a meeting. Just don't. There's no reason for it. I would rather you not show up. Call in and say, I'm sick, I'm not coming. Don't be late, guys. It is a check mark against you.
And we managed to start on time for that reason.
Be prepared. Don't miss deadlines. Do not miss a deadline. There's no reason, unless it's, somebody had to have died. That's what we used to tell folk back in the day. Somebody better be dead for you to have missed this deadline. Don't abandon your team. Somebody is attacking one of your team member, don't feel comfortable. Well, at least they're not attacking you. An attack on the team is an attack on you. Poor spelling, and poor grammar. Guys, there's a ton of packages out there, Grammarly. There's a ton of stuff out there that will help you electronically be a better writer. There's no excuse for it. And folk who hold you in high esteem, they will automatically demote you when they start getting stuff that has grammatical and spelling error. They just do it automatically. It's like, it's admission to the game. You don't even need to do anything. This is just showing up. Bullying. Yeah, you guys know about that. I mean, it's really not our thing. But not checking your work, turning in work. Just finish it, you handed it in, it's filled with errors, you're gonna get called out on it. And the next time a project comes up that would give you visibility to get you access to a promotion, it's not gonna go to you, because they're gonna remember that the last time they handed you a project, you handed in something that was filled with a lot of errors. You didn't even check your own work. Like back in the school days, people who handed in their exam and they didn't put their name on it. It's like, are you serious? I mean, you're going to lose points for that. And how do I remain relevant in a world that is changing constantly? Like, you graduated with a degree now, and you're going to hit the market in full force when we're allowed out of quarantine. So how do you stay relevant in this market that's always changing? And I say adopt a philosophy of a lifelong learner. You might not have the professor anymore, but you need to take some advanced courses online. You need to take some certification courses online. Anything that you can do to put yourself in a position to be able to solve the problems that your team is dealing with, you're going to need to do. So aspire to be the best sponge on your team and soak everything up. That's how you succeed.
Virtual class.
Dean, could you tell the students, look, I've given you my email address. I am not an expert on everything. I will never try to be that. And anybody who tells you they're an expert, I think you need to eliminate them from your contact, because none of us are expert. COVID just proved that. Okay. You've got my email address. If you've got some questions, see, other folk have had this type of leeway and lane. And I think it's time for us to have that. Dean Rowe put me on an industry advisory council. That's saying, as academicians, we need folk in industry to tell us what's going on in the industry. We don't know everything. So I'm telling you, if there's a question that you have, whether it's your resume, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, and you better have one. Do not write me if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, because as soon as you write me, the first thing I do is I pull up your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, or if you have one that doesn't have a photo, I am so embarrassed for you. So embarrassed, because 95% of the recruiters have said LinkedIn is their #1 tool that they use to recruit. How could you have a sloppy page on the #1 tool that people recruit on? So if you need help, email me. And I tell everybody, my LinkedIn page gets more hits, because I tell folks, look at my LinkedIn page. If you need an example of how something is done, look at my page. Okay. No, that's it. Look, I will talk all night. Dean Roll knows it, so I'm gonna stop. I'm done.
Well, Terrence, we thank you for all of this this evening, and I don't know what to say. You answered so many questions, and those who missed out tonight will get a chance to hear a little bit more of you on Friday. And I encourage those who are here to check our schedule to do that, to log on and bring 2 or 3 people with you, because they really are missing out on something as wonderful as hearing Mr. Biggs. So Terrence, again, I thank you. Clover, you're muted, Clover. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Sorry. I want to thank Mr. Biggs for a great speech and answering my question.
Thank you. So I sent the link to our chat box that we are about to move into our dinner and talent show portion of the program, and you're going to see some talent featured by your students. I told Clover, Clover's going to run it, help us run it, and we have a guest DJ from California, DJ Fiji. She's gonna help keep the program moving. So now, if you were at the last program, Mr. Biggs, I need to see all y'all standing and dancing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna watch them this time. I might not dance this time. I don't know. But I think we thank you all for coming out. Coming out online to WebEx, and can't wait to see you move into and join us at our next event. So I hope you RSVP'd on Eventbrite, and if you didn't, it's still not too late. And I sent you the link to move on. It's already started. I already opened up the site, so I'll see you there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Biggs.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys, give Raquel a round of applause. She's been phenomenal. And the rest of the team, you guys have really you're impressed me. I'm just blown away by just all that you've done. Awesome.
Thank you.
For those of you who just joined us, that is our 1983 graduate, successful on Wall Street, accountant, serial entrepreneur, and we're so proud he's come back to give and give and give often. And so, as Michelle has mentioned, we have our 2020 graduate, Chambers. And Clover, if you could just tell the group that's joining us now a little bit about you, your major, your background, how you left and came back to college. Tell this group a little bit, and then we'll go into the program.
Okay.
It's a different link for the program.
Okay.
So that you know, it's a different link.
So do we have to leave this one?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, so
that's why Egby couldn't get in. He was on the other link.
So that started at 6:30. It's open. I've already started that. People are joining.
All right. So we have to get off and go on. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next round at the next place. It's at
Yeah, there are people already waiting for you to show up.
Okay. All right. Let's have the talent show. See?
I have to go to the next program. Okay.
All right. Be there. Make sure you come.
Next program. In another program.